Welcome to Coaches Go Social. April is Financial Literacy Month, and as entrepreneurs, I know you have a lot on your plate. You have a lot to manage. And I believe that entrepreneurship is the ultimate journey in personal development, and there's always something to learn. So I started Coaches Go Social specifically for you as a service-based entrepreneur, as a life coach, as a business coach, to give you the tools and resources that you need to move your business and your life forward faster by bringing you all these amazing experts and advice and tips. So today we're talking about business finances, and specifically I invited my friend Janet Redford on to talk about profit first and how that's going to allow us to bring our pay ourselves first, bring in more money to ourselves first, pay ourselves before we think about anything else in our business. So she has an awesome analogy to share, and she's going to be answering all your questions. So make sure to take some good notes and ask your questions, because this will be definitely interactive as usual. Today we're streaming on Facebook, on LinkedIn Live, and on YouTube. As always, I love using StreamYard for that exact fact that we can stream to all those places at once. Brings it super easy to bring a guest on to your show, and also makes it a really interactive experience as well, because I get to put your comments on the screen. So if you're here watching, make sure to say hi. I'll put your comment on the screen so we can all interact with you as well, and it's super fun. Afterwards, after the show today, we go about 30 minutes, and afterwards we're going to hop into a messenger chat room, which is like a little video chat room, kind of like Zoom, but it's on Facebook. The link is above, and I'll share that as well. So after the show, I can see all your smiling faces and interact almost like we are, in person. So definitely make sure to save a few minutes for joining us afterwards, because we'll ask even more questions to Janet. She's going to get all of our questions today. So super excited. Hey, Bernadette, thanks for joining us. Hey, Tracy. So if you'd like to learn more about how you could be the host of your own live streaming show, my program is called Capitalize with Live, and you can learn more on my website at capitalizesocialmedia.com/CWL. So super excited about that. And the show is actually sponsored by Wave.video, and Wave.video is a really neat, easy to use application that allows you to, it's a desktop web version of an application that allows you to crop and edit and add captions really super easily to your videos. So if you do a live show and you want to repurpose your videos afterwards, it makes it really, really easy to do that. And I love Wave.video. I use them for all of my video editing, including the intro video that I'm about to show you right now. So again, if you're watching, make sure to say hey. Can't wait to interact with you and answer all your questions about Profit First here in just a moment. And I'm going to show you that video and bring on Janet. Hello, welcome. Hi, Janet.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. We got Bernadette here with us. Hey, Bernadette
Oh,
and
nice.
Tracy. If you're here watching, make sure to comment so we can know that you're here and join in on the conversation. Super, super excited to have Janet with us today, because we're going to talk about money. We're going to talk specifically about business finances and money, which may be something that we don't all love to talk about, but we all need to know it if we're an entrepreneur, right? Yes, exactly. She's got it. She's got it in her hand. She knows all about it. She's going to teach us all about profit first. But before she does that, I want you actually, Janet, to introduce yourself a little bit. Tell us where you're from and kind of how you got into being a profit first, personal performance and profit strategist. Give us a little bit of more information about you.
Sure. Thank you, Amy. I'm so honored to be here. So I'm excited. I live in Colorado. I'm a Denver native. I lived in the mountain area of Conifer Morrison area for quite a while, probably 16 plus years, and just moved over to the Western Slope in 2019. Hi, Regina, that's my realtor. And
Aw.
I just am settling into this new area. And I became a Profit First professional in the fall of 2014. And how I became that is I was actually coaching a client who said, you know what? You need to read this book, Profit First, because how you're coaching me with my budget is very much similar to this book. And so I went and read the book and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, I don't have to write the book. The book is written. I just need to reach out to the company. So I reached out to the company and said, how can I be a part of this? Because their mission is to eradicate entrepreneurial poverty. Anyone ever experienced that? And so I got an appointment with them. We talked and I went through and became a certified Profit First professional. So I like to call myself a profit strategist, or if you're a more spiritual person, I also call myself a prosperity strategist, so that you bring in all that you want to bring into your life. And what made me really buy into Profit First is I became a Profit First professional in the fall of 2014. And my husband and I had sold our home in Conifer that same year. So when we got to our appointment, our tax appointment in April, our tax preparer delivered a massive tax bill to us because when we had deducted our home office all those years, something happened. I'm not a CPA or anything. It gets added back on and it landed us with this massive tax bill. It's one of those where you sit in shock and you hear, oh my God, but it's at that high, strained, stressful pitch. And that was my husband. Fortunately, I had just joined Profit First and had been practicing Profit First from that September. I think I joined in September. So from September to that following April at our tax appointment, I had been practicing Profit First. So I had some money held aside that I could at least put a down payment on that large tax bill. I'm talking thousands and thousands. And I put a down payment on that, and then we got on a payment plan. And I have been practicing Profit First ever since that, not only in my business, but in my personal life. I live a Profit First lifestyle. And just being able to navigate that landmine showed me this does eradicate entrepreneurial poverty. This changes lives. I've taught this many times over. And to see people transform and to first start out with tears and then get to the wins and then feel empowered and have a better relationship with money and to do what they do best. That's why I'm a personal performance strategist, as well as I help you get out of your own way so you can do what you do best with 5-star impact. But if we're worried about money, we can't show up.
That's so
and
true.
So
That's
having
so
that
true.
come together as a combo power pack is why I love what I do.
Oh, that's awesome. I can't wait for you to share more about actually what is Profit First, because there might be some people in the audience that don't actually know exactly what it is, but we do have a couple of people here to say hello to. I hope I'm saying your name right. Raj Kumar, welcome. So glad that you're here. Tim's here. Yes, from Pennsylvania.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, let us know where you're tuning in from too. We definitely have a widespread audience here. So yes, Tim usually says shout out to whatever the topic is, and he's like, no, we're not shouting out. We're just shouting at taxes, because that's why we talk. April is Financial Literacy Month, and that just happens to be where a lot of the finances come into play. Where as entrepreneurs, we definitely have a lot of that to manage, for sure. Yes, Tracy, if you're worrying about money, we can't show up. That's so true. Having that kind of stress level, puts a strain on everything in ourselves and our business, for sure. Good one. So, okay, so what is Profit First? Can you kind of just give us a definition to start off with?
Sure. Profit First is a cash management system. You're basically implementing a system to help you manage your cash flow when it comes in and to know what to do with that. So an example would be if I had you do an exercise right now, it would be get out a piece of paper, and let's say we give you, whether it's $100, I don't know where your level of business is, but if it's $100 coming in, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, whatever that level is, when that money comes into your business, what do you do? How do you direct it? And what I find is, and I'm going to grab a little prop here. I brought myself a little plate. Is typically we have our plate and all this sales comes in, right? But how many of you were brought up to clean your plate? And so what we typically do is we grab all that money going, oh my gosh, all this money came in. So I have enough money to go pay for this and this and this. And so we just take this money and it goes right back out. What Profit First does is it has you take this money, and instead of seeing this as a plate that you eat from, I like to call this the income platter. We never eat from the platter unless you're one of those people who sneak food off the platter when no one's looking and eat from it. But we typically serve from a platter. So if you could look at your income, business income, as arriving on an income platter, and that you learn how to allocate. And that's what Profit First does, is we teach you how to allocate and what to allocate to so that you get in the practice. And so some of the examples I'll give today is more a basic foundation of the process, but you could definitely customize it depending on your industry of business. So some people might have a few accounts, others will have more depending on their business.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yes, shout out to props. Having visuals is definitely helpful when we're explaining new topics and new ideas. So that definitely helps. I love the next stick around for the next one she's going to do is really, really cool. But specifically the platter, like having, thinking about serving yourself from, like, serve yourself from the platter, right? Like, I think that's sometimes the trap that a lot of entrepreneurs get into, where we go, okay, well, I've got this money now, and now I have all these bills to pay, kind of like you said, let's pay all the bills, and then whatever's left over, then I'm going to take. And then it's like, okay, well, what if there isn't anything left over? What if you go over, you're passing too much money out, and then what happens? So thinking that more in a proactive approach, it sounds like, versus a reactive approach.
Yes. The way we look at Profit First, the whole reason why it's called Profit First is, number one, how do you determine what's profit in your business? Usually we look at profit as an afterthought, an event, right? We look to see if we're profitable by the time some business owners might know, but that when they hit December, that they know if they're in the black or if they're in the red. They know if they have a profit or not. A lot of business owners do not know their numbers, nor do they know if they're being profitable, and they have to wait until their tax return to know, are they profitable or not. And so that's why we reverse engineer that, because typically we're taught the GAAP method, which is the generally accepted accounting principles, GAAP. And that means income minus expense equals profit. Wouldn't you say that we all typically learn to run our business that way? What we do is we turn that around and we go income minus profit equals, and then we allocate the rest, because it makes you navigate differently. And so I want to use that prop. Is this a good time for my other prop?
Yes, this is a great time for your other prop.
I'm not doing any brand, support. I'm just saying. Okay, so I have a tube of toothpaste. So it's a little bright here. I have a tube of toothpaste. What do you do? So I want to, you can show hands in the comments. How many of you, when you get a fresh, brand new tube of toothpaste, you take the lid off and you go, whoop, and you put a nice thick band of toothpaste? Anyone do that? Do you do that, Amy? Nice thick band of toothpaste, right?
Exactly. You got plenty in there. You don't have any limits to worry about.
And it's kind of mindless, right? You just squeeze it and fill it. Okay. Now I'm going to get to this one.
No.
So when you get to the end of your toothpaste, right? Do you see how I'm like, well, my lighting is very bright, but you do the whole press it down, and then you do the whole almost a squeegee thing where you're doing this, and then you twist it and you do the whole ramrod thing, right? So then we get to the ramrod approach, and we got it in our hands. We're navigating this. We get our toothbrush, and we are just trying to get as much as we can, that little squeeze on, and we fill maybe the blue part of the brush, and then we brush our teeth, correct? All right. This and this is used from the same human behavior called Parkinson's law. Parkinson's law was developed by C. North Parkinson's, who talked about supply and demand. If we see we have a lot in supply, we kind of get mindless and we just use it. Shoop, fill up our toothbrush. But when we get low on supply, we get very innovative and frugal, right? I am just trying to get enough on my brush to brush my teeth. So this is very innovative, frugal, and strategic. And that's what we have to look at as we work our business is as we serve our clients, the best thing we can do is be financially healthy. Because if we're financially healthy, the more people we can serve. And isn't that why we're entrepreneurs? Is that we're here to serve people. So if we serve people and we establish a healthy relationship with our money and we keep ourselves financially healthy and sustain ourselves, the more people we can serve, the more we can keep going. So putting the profits aside is like taking this and going, okay, I'm taking about this much out. And now I have to allocate the rest towards the other areas of business because this is not leftover of all operating expenses. I'm still going to be allocating. And then I might have this much left in the operating expenses so that I have to use this approach so that I make sure I'm getting a return on every investment, which is my business expense. Am I getting a return on everything that I am bringing into my business as an expense? Like, does the software work? Am I still using the software? That's one of the things I would say is print off your bank account statement, go through all your expenses, and highlight what are your reoccurring monthly expenses. And then what are some of your variable spending? Can you trim any fat so that you're as lean as possible so that you can be frugal? And then with the money you have, get innovative. For example, if we put money aside, can we then be able to pay an annual dues in cash instead of the monthly because that's at a little bit higher investment so that you're learning to run very lean and frugal and innovative so that when it does come time for growth, you are in the mindset of qualifying your expenses. So I bet you'll use your toothpaste differently now.
That makes so much sense.
Right? That you won't just do a whole band, but you'll make your toothpaste last a lot longer. And someone's the same with toilet paper. Exactly.
Yes. And Bernadette says, sometimes she even cuts off the tube to wipe off every last bit of the toothpaste. And I don't know if this is part of the analogy that you're trying to make, but I know that, from my background, some people know that I started off my entrepreneurship journey with a coupon blog and saving money and things like that. The amount of money that you're actually saving by squeezing, the tube of toothpaste, like $4, $5? The amount of money you're saving by squeezing that little tiny bit out, like you said, your efforts can be, so much more effective by looking at this as a big picture approach and kind of mapping things out ahead of time to be proactive versus trying to squeeze that last, 2 cents out of your toothpaste. But yeah, exactly. Same with toilet paper. That can get expensive too and hard to find sometimes. But yeah, it's the same thing, it's those little things, and then I love how you said, reviewing it. I do that every month. At the end of every month, I go over look at my bank statements. I look at all the money that came out and I look and make sure that it lined up with what I expected. And then I go through and say, okay, well, actually I don't use this anymore. I don't use this because that's from a mistake that I made, years ago where I wouldn't do that for like 3 or 4 months. And then I go back and I'm like, I've been paid for this and I haven't even used it. That was a waste of money. So, that 30 minutes at the end of every month is that's what I do. And it's just a huge benefit to my business.
I love that you do that, Amy, because what you're showing and modeling to people here is that you have a financial practice. So that's the other question I would have is how do you determine the financial health of your life and your business? How do you connect to your numbers? Because we can tell ourselves a story, but numbers don't lie. I can say, well, my business is doing well. And you might be looking just at the size of income that's coming in. But I've seen businesses where they're bringing huge amounts of revenue into their business, but they have that same huge amount going out. And so they're not $1 million company. They're not a $500,000 company. They might be a $500,000 revenue company who is really a $50,000 company or a $25,000 company because most of it goes out the door. And so it's not the size of your business, it's how healthy is your business, because that's what's going to sustain you. And the thing that really makes me love Profit First even more is with the pandemic when it happened, and I saw 2 weeks, 4 weeks, people already closing their businesses means they don't have a safety net. And that made me very sad because we love small businesses, right? It's a free enterprise. It's the fabric of our country, and it's how we have healthy communities. It's our small business community. And so to see that people were closing their businesses after 2 to 4 weeks really helped me understand how poor of a money relationship we have, and that we don't have safety nets, or we don't think we should pay ourselves first. When you are an entrepreneur, number one, you have to have grit. You have to have a heart to serve people. And the part that gets pushed away is, well, money shouldn't come first. Money has to be first. Money is the foundation of your business. You have to pay yourself. If you don't pay yourself, how will you survive in your personal life? You have to be able to pay your bills. You have to take care of you. This is your oxygen mask first. Put on your oxygen mask so you can go and serve others. And so that's why I believe so much in this, because during this pandemic, I was very fortunate. I had maybe 4 clients to spend, but then I had 4. It gave me time to build my Profit First online course so I could offer it because I saw the pain happening. But it also helped me because if I needed to lean on, if I had more clients drop off, I had my safety nets in place that I could lean on and go for months and months and months and not worry. And that's really what it's about, is peace of mind, that you have sustained yourself so you can do what you do best to help others. Because if you're an entrepreneur, people need your services.
Yeah.
Period.
Exactly. Yes, Tim says, love the analogies, makes it really easy to understand. I love the analogies. She's really great at coming up with analogies for everything, and I love the visuals too. And
Thank you.
It's ironic that, we started our business, and entrepreneurs watching right now, you can tell me how you started your business, but I'm sure you came up with like this great idea, and then you thought, this idea is going to help so many people, right? And so that's, we don't go into it going, I'm going to get rich, that we're going to just make so much money hand over fist. Like, no, you went into it authentically and genuinely wanting to help people. And the reality of that, like you said, is that in order for us to help those people, we need to make money, and we need to be smart about our money, and we need to, budget it just like we do with our personal finances, and allow that to then help us help more people, because that really is what happens, is when you can fuel your business by more money, and that will help you help more people.
Yes, and I think that's the shift I would like to see people take on, is it's okay for you to get paid for what you do. It's okay for you to build wealth. It's okay for you to say, I want to make 6 figures, 7 figures, whatever it is. Because here's the thing, is when you say, I want to make 6 figures or 7 figures, then my question is, then how do you need to show up in your life to serve the people that you're here to serve, to generate that income? That's where your planning and strategy and action items need to come into place, right? A strategy and then the tactical pieces. And if you want to make that amount of money, I say go for it, because you have every right to want what you want. Just how do you need to show up? How do you need to perform?
Exactly.
Yes, takes me minutes every week to review. Yes, good. I actually have my own financial appointments. They're usually Monday, Fridays, because depending on how my income comes in, and that's things we can go into during the chat, but giving more details of what this means to bring the money in and then to allocate it, is having that financial appointment with yourself, both in your business and in your personal life, is going to help you build a healthy relationship with money. I cannot tell you how many people I have met who have hated money, and they're struggling. And it's because of that mindset that money is a bad thing. Money is an energy exchange. And if you can learn to serve and receive, because part of the piece I hear with people too is they get lost in generosity. Well, I'm only here to serve. I really shouldn't get paid. So when the money comes in, they go like this. It goes right out. And then they struggle. Whereas when you have money coming in for doing what you do to serve others, then you bring it in this way, and then you also reciprocate. That's reciprocity, not getting lost in generosity. It's reciprocity. You take, you give. You receive, you give. Yeah. You give, you receive.
Yes, grit and a heart to serve.
Yes.
People, a safety net for sure. Yes, Patty, exactly. Yeah, it's,
Yes, a heart
entrepreneurship
to
is
serve.
a journey. It's a journey. It's the ultimate journey of personal development. I always say that, and it's so true because there's so much mindset that comes about. These thoughts that we have about money. That's just from when you were raised. Like that's really where it comes from. Is like how you're raised, what your, family and how you're brought up and how those kind of thoughts kind of manifested in your own perceptions, and then you carry that all the way through your life, and then you become an entrepreneur and it's like, oh, I still have those thoughts and now I have to kind of switch it around. So luckily there's people like Janet out here that can help us with our mindset and give us that the direction to help us really make our business successful. And Regina says, if you don't know your numbers, how would you know if you're successful or not? Exactly.
Exactly. That's the key, right? The
Exactly.
saying is numbers don't lie.
That's
We could
absolutely
give
true.
ourselves a story, but numbers don't lie.
That's true. Tracy says money is amoral. It's the heart and action behind it creates the perception of good or bad. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And oh gosh, I could talk forever on this topic too because there's so much to uncover. But if you don't want this to end, we would love to have you in our little after show chat and be able to see your faces in our messenger chat room here in just a second. And I'll add that link below. But before we do that, I want you to share about your upcoming webinar that you have coming up.
Okay, so I am working with two other experts. We are doing a collaboration of a monthly webinar. It's the second Wednesday of every month from noon to 1 Mountain Time. And I do an overview of Profit First. And then Michelle Boyer, she does the tax incentives. She's basically helping share tax savings that we call hidden in plain view. And then Matt Nagy, he is with Schoolie Mitchell, and he helps you reduce your vendor cost so that you can increase your profit. So he's making sure you're getting a return on your investment. And so we're doing this collaboration. It's a free webinar. Please join us, learn about what we have to offer and what you might be able to take as next steps so that you can create a healthy business and be a business profit growth of sustainability.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think everybody should join that. Everyone should have a good base knowledge of what this is all about and how they can implement it and make some healthier decisions about their business finances. So thank you so much for all that you've offered to us and all the advice you've given and your great analogies and visuals.
Well, thank
Loved
you.
it so much. Everybody loved it. And if you don't want this conversation to end, you don't have to.
Thanks, Doris.
Just join us in our messenger chat room. I added Doris signed up. Yay. I added that link down below as well. So the link to Janet's webinar coming up on May 12th is in the comments, as well as the messenger chat. So hopefully we will see you over there in just a second. Stay tuned. The second and fourth Tuesday of every month. Next month is May. It's actually Mental Health Awareness Month. And we're talking about mindset tips and things that we can really help us stay in a positive mindset throughout the trials and tribulations of life. So that's what I'm here for, to bring you experts and coaches that will give you the advice to help you move your business and your life forward faster. So I hope you enjoyed today's show. Thank you so much for all of your interactions and
Thank
comments,
you.
and we'll see you over in the messenger chat room here in just a second. Bye.